Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene will take place in the Cathedral of Counted Shadows, as they have begun to call it, that place of anguish and miring emotion that was once the goal in the centre of Dublin, when it was that the British would lock away people so that they could never again see the sun. Well, now the irony continues, as those who never wish to face Helios's disk skulk amid its shadows. However, tonight it is a grand affair. Music is played, and the innermost sanctum, that long line where the cells disgorge forth the Cainites of the truly chosen, the sword of Cain. There are long tables erected where many entities have already met their death, their coagulating vitae thick upon the ground, making it sticky as your feet press into the naked stone. The doors on one end of the grand affair are open, and the herald announces those who enter. At the other end, seated on the third floor above you, on a walkway erected from metal designed first in order to accommodate prisoners on the third story, a single black throne is set, in which there is a figure whose skin is as pale as alabaster, and whose features are as ageless and white as chiseled marble. She looks at you with the predatory glance of a true apex predator, uncaring, unfeeling. Emotion long ago died within that heart, to be consumed by only the abyss knows what. As you enter, summoned forth, summoned in, you are welcomed. There are great cheers, for you are the conquering heroes, you who have provided the blood for this evening's feast. You are commanded, should your doctus be here, to step forward, or if they are not, whomever will speak for you to do so, to step before the dais and make your offerings to the Archbishop in person. She will judge their worthiness, and then she may deign to give what rewards when she sees fit. Archbishop Cerulean Divaci watches as you enter, her eyes black pits. We will begin with the Knights of Blood and etc., because I'm not going to say your full names. Who will speak for you? Says the herald at the door.
I am eldest.
You claim the right.
Will speak. I do. My archbishop.
The archbishop is speaking to you. You are speaking to the herald at the doorway.
Oh. Then I do, herald.
I see. I would know your name, so they may be recorded. Grog?
I keep muting myself. Alfred Montebank, late of New York, and destroyer of a chantry with...
Muted yourself again.
Did it not go through? I thought I did.
Destroyer of a chantry.
Yes, and then he stopped speaking. Like that was it.
Okay.
End of sentence.
And who else stands for the Knights? Name yourself.
Abbott. I was embraced. My sire chose to embrace me. He first saw me in the ancient lands that they used to call Kish and Ur. And I came to Dublin and he found me and embraced me.
As you say, you who claim psionage, does anyone else claim to be a member of the Knights, or shall they now step forward?
Julian Fletcher, Clanzamis, child of insert Anthony's character's name here.
It's an NPC, but yes.
Yeah, you know.
Very well then. Step forward and make your offering.
He pulls on a chain so that people are now drug into this room. There are 6 hobos with scratched in with what looks like a talon for Shovelhead, and all 6 of them are labeled as food only befitting a Shovelhead. Behind them are 6 more people. They are college age, healthy, young students. They have nothing carved on them, as it would blemish them, and to some would serve as an insult. Behind them are 3 more college students, and then finally 2 people of exquisite blood.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but they're good and healthy.
As they are dragged forward, many of them would moan or scream. However, the gags in their mouths prevent this.
Gags? Mine don't have mouths.
Oh,
Sorry.
did you actually vicissitude them to lack mouths?
Unless my common sense would say otherwise, yes.
Okay,
Much
that's
easier
fine.
that way.
They would scream if they could, but they possess not the mouth to do so, not the lips to bite upon. That is a luxury they no longer have. The herald walks forward with the swishing of purple robes, as he will smash his staff upon the floor 3 times and announce, "Should it please your excellencies, I present to you Alfred Montebank and the Knights of Blood," insert the rest of the name here, "who present their offerings before you for your consideration, Archbishop Delvace," at which point she will extend her hand and gesture once with a single black-tipped fingernail.
Alfred, being a predator and in very much a room filled with other predators that are much more badass than him, exposes his throat to the bishops and archbishop.
I will point out all 4 of the other bishops are seated on lesser chairs, lesser thrones, if you will, one stratum down from the archbishop. The only person to stand on the same stratum is the captain of her Templars, who is standing beside her at a military-style attention. She will look down at you and will say in a very, very low, almost whisper, and yet somehow it carries to your ears with perfect clarity, "These are your gifts to us."
From the kind they were taken to be given to you, your eminence.
Did I disconnect?
It went suddenly quiet. Did Evan disconnect?
I'm not sure. Anyone else present?
Yes.
Yep.
So that is the way. Time to play. So.
Diablo.
Still here.
No, if anyone's getting Diablerized, it wouldn't be them.
Oh, by the way, what does AM mean in that context, Nolan?
It means this. A proto-AI in a post-apocalyptic world who really likes screwing with people to the same extent as a Zamitzi. Complete with... The game is called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Lucky. I only heard the reference once, and I thought it was a book, not a game.
It might have originally been a book. I just know the game.
Okay.
It was indeed a book. The game is designed off the book. And they decided not to have one of the characters be gay because they're cowards.
Welcome back, Evan. I think he just came back. His picture changed. And yeah, let's. I'm totally okay with that, Jack.
Yeah, I think that works. You know what? It was funny when you had that whole thing about Late of New York. I was like, man, I got to come up with something. My character hasn't done anything.
Welcome back, Evan.
So sorry. Apparently my internet decided nope for about 30 seconds. So yes, she will whisper in a voice that is still crystal clear to those who stand below her dais. These are the gifts you brave knights bring to me. Yeah.
Yes, Your Eminence, from the kind they were plucked to better fill and satiate those that you give favor to.
Was that noise in character or out of character? The kind of ooh.
No, my landlord's dog jumped up, and I forgot that I thought I was muted.
No worries. The
I'm sorry, I can't stay in character, but a puggle,
pugs are adorable.
They are, break my Nosferatu badass character, I guess. All right, let me mute myself. Get back.
The bishop will look down and she will say, I see. How interesting. I thank you for your services. What are your names?
Weren't they just announced by the Herald, by the way?
Yes, but she's pointedly asking you to introduce yourselves.
Alfred Montebank of Clan Gangrel, member of the Pack of the Knights of Blood and Death.
Your Eminence, I am Everett King of Clan Nosferatu. My blades will always be at your service.
And her head will last turn and she'll say, and you, new one.
Is that Julian?
Yep. She can scent the fact that you still have human scent.
I mean, I'm 6 weeks old. Yeah. He'll say, oh shit, did we lose him again?
No, that was my other me.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry. He'll say, Julian Fletcher of Clan Zemis. Unless common sense triggers, he's also going to, say same thing he did the Herald Child of, insert NPC.
We shall watch you with great anticipation. Your offerings are acceptable. She will very gently clap one of her hands against the back of her hand. It's a very slight gesture. However, it radiates outward to the point that all can hear. You're not exactly sure how, but it does. Like everyone can hear the slight tap, but it sounds much larger, much more important, much more like a assemblage to be silent. And she will say, so, you are a warrior, Alfred Montebank. And you are a warrior also, proud scion of Clan Nosferatu.
I am a warrior.
I am a hunter of things that crawl and fly. Yes, Your Eminence. I am a warrior.
I see. In that case, by the benefices and authorities placed upon me via the council and Our Lady the Regent, I hereby bestow upon your pack the hunting grounds and dominionage of... You'll see the paladin step forward with a clipboard in his hand as her eyes skim down it, and she'll say, "Yes, we will give you Temple Oak. It abuts one of the contested areas of Terranure with the Camarilla. We shall expect you to make good use of our gift and our benefice."
Oh, see, that's basically hunting ground, right?
It's Dominion, so take of that as what you will.
Okay.
And it's a pretty big one.
But it also connects to unfriendly territory.
Your Grace, as the wolf hunts, so shall we, and we shall drag down and tear apart all those who walk with the ivory tower.
We have no doubt that that is correct, Alfred Montebank. Now then. Once again, there's a very slight tap that radiates out through the room, and she will say, "Take these away to be prepared. Throw those who are necessary to the freshly dug, and keep those more tender morsels for those who actually matter." At which point, the poor unfortunate souls will be dragged away by men who are dressed in black body armor, wearing black trench coats in the forms of the Paladins and the Templars. There is much screaming. Much screaming.
Or there would have been if they had mouths.
Indeed.
Yes.
I was going to say much silent screaming, but then my brain kind of had a spastic moment. Next, she will then give the Order of Blood a kind of a dismissive wave of the hand. Like you don't need to go, but you shouldn't stand here anymore.
Alfred will,
Out of the way.
bow head, back away 3 steps, and GTFO out of the way.
No offense, but I would like OC to mention that you're mixing the pack names up since you said Order of Blood.
Okay, they're now called the Order of Blood because the bishop said so.
I mean,
Behold,
we were going to change it to Knights of Blood anyways, so...
I mean, okay, yes, I will put it. There are a lot of you. I will occasionally fuck this up. My apologies in advance. All right then. She will then once again she will then lean back in her chair. At which point the next am I being summoned? No, I'm okay. At which point the herald will tap the butt of his staff on the ground again in order to symbolize that the next group should step forward to the dais.
Cassian will move forward.
Mariam is right on his footsteps.
And Jack is following as well.
Okay. The herald will look down and he will say, "And your group is?"
1 second, please. Out of character. This is hard for even Ian to say, so.
Gets bad. You can't remember the name of your own godforsaken pack.
Cassian will clear his throat and go. We are the First Theophanic Order of Saint Metroton Archangel. I am the Ductus Cassian Santino.
And the rest of you, your names?
Mariam bows politely and says, "I am Mariam Yarani, Angel of Cain. Child of..." And she has like the merit that it says here, but I haven't really fleshed out her sire much, so
Okay.
I don't know. So, but she would mention her sire's name, I guess.
I see. And his head will turn again to the last personage.
Jack will step forward and make a slight bow and say, I am I'm Jack Flanagan, prior of the First Theophanic Order of Saint Metatron Archangel, Your Excellence.
As you say, I will introduce you. Ian, what have you brought?
We brought the 11 varying blood dolls.
Okay, cool. They will
8 of average quality and 3 of higher.
Okay, awesome. They will be dragged towards the dais with you. The Archbishop looks down and you see she is about to speak. However, another voice will speak before she does, causing her to stop and kind of, I'm not going to say take a moment, because that's not inherently correct, but she will definitely be stopped before she makes whatever statement she was going to, the comments dying on her lips. And you will see, give me a moment. Yes, I'm just trying to find her picture. Yes, you will see the Chiasid Bishop Mariposa lean forward in her chair, and she will say, "This is the one we spoke of, Your Excellency." Oh, I see. How interesting. Alfred Montebank, are you still in the room?
Yes, Your Grace.
I have a
Eminence.
request for you.
Unto your words will I move with alacrity and
Wonderful. Please go outside and find for me one. She looks down at her clipboard again. Find for me one Patrick O'Malley, Ductus of the Evan has to pronounce this, the Shenra, I think is how I'm pronouncing that, or Shinra.
like a wild ass I go forth unto do your business.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I just straight up quoted Dune.
Yes, you did. Evan did not.
Right. I will return.
Okay. Whilst this happens, she will hold up her hand, and you will basically you will be stopped halfway between the door and the dais. If you choose to speak or do anything, you may do.
Who was stopped in motion? I thought everyone was at a standstill, other than the person.
The ones who are approaching the dais. The first order of Trafanic, etc., etc., etc.
Cassian will stop and hold up his hand to stop the others behind him.
Mariam stops immediately.
So, if you wish to speak or continue to role play, you can. If you wish to just wait, we can do that, whichever you prefer.
We shall wait, because we have not been spoken to.
Do people have weapons on them here other than the Templars?
No, pretty much only the Templars are actually armed. You can assume. Well, I mean, you weren't stopped from bringing weapons. Did you bring a weapon?
No. I do not have weapons on me. I normally have a knife, but I wouldn't have thought I would need it here, and I can make one if I need it.
Do you have do you have body armor?
No, but according to everything I've seen from Vicissitude, if I'm willing to take lethal damage, I can basically tear off. I can basically, if I'm willing to take the lethal damage, like it says in the book, I can rip off like my hand or anything else, and it'll be a dagger. I just have to fleshcraft it that way.
Bonecraft.
But you know what I mean.
I think but I think that you actually require. I'll look into it, but I think you actually require the body armory new combo discipline in order to do that. Now I'll look into it. I don't actually know off the top of my head.
Okay, because it seems okay.
Body armory involves slightly more complicated weapons, like less than bone knife than a bone sword. And those deal aggravated damage instead of lethal damage. That's the big difference.
Yeah, no. If you just want to make a knife
regular bone sword
lethal, then yes, that'll do it.
Yeah, regular bone dagger, or I guess if I took my whole arm off, it'd be bone sword. But then I'm taking a lot of damage. Okay.
Cool. Now we just wait.
Is this a good opportunity for our characters to introduce ourselves to the Archbishop?
She has purposely stopped you before coming into what would be considered to be the area of address. You may, however, talk in a louder tone for her to hear you if you'd like. That is entirely up to you. That's pretty interesting.
What is?
Apparently, they have some really weird problem with the other hangout. And I don't know why. In that case, I will be back in a moment because I'm going to do it. So I'm literally going to nip out of this hangout to nip into that one to nip back into this one before this one goes offline. Because I have about 2 minutes that I can do it in.
Hurry, hurry.
Okay, this one's going to be interesting. Oh, unless the other one's dropped, in which case I don't need to do it.
That would be impractical, but of course possible.
Once again, this is why I loathe having to do more than one hangout at once, because I'm such a micromanager.
You can always just manually invite the other person in if need be.
I just point back to my earlier comment about Evan's head imploding.
Dude, not helpful. Thank you, but not helpful.
While we're waiting on stuff, Jack?
Yep.
I haven't had a chance to talk with you yet, so could you tell me any information about your character? I know they're a Nosferatu. Do they just look any appearance information that might be helpful?
Yeah, no, he's very thin. Has kind of I'd say honestly his face looks kind of like a chemical, kind of like someone who went through a chemical attack. So the way that I was kind of seeing him was, so his sire basically, when I introduced my character, he was a soldier in Iraq, and his sire woke up. He's a very old Babylonian vampire. Woke up and attacked my character's squad. The character got the hell out of Dodge, and so my sire respected the fact that he had a good enough survival instinct to run and not be stupid. And so when he got back to base, he basically got drummed out of the army because they thought that he was a coward. But so when the way that I pictured is kind of had that mystical aspect of it. So when he got transformed into a Nosferatu, all the burning oil wells and stuff, kind of like that, he has a little bit of an oily sheen to him.
Neat.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Does he seem like a particularly scrawny and or strong person? If he was a soldier, I assume decent stats. Looks like.
He's it's like one of the, it's like, let me see.
I mean, I don't need to know details if you don't want to tell them. I was just saying, does he seem like he's...
Yeah.
Yes, I managed to do it. I'm back in and out. Haha, victory.
Congrats.
Thank you. I consider this a personal win.
Actually, he looks very thin, but,
Gotcha.
He looks thin.
Are we waiting for the Herald to come back? The player Herald?
I will bring Grog back, yes. Give me a second.
And that other person will be coming in too?
No. I think it would have been a good idea to bring non-blood gifts as well, just as an extra thing. That probably would have been a good idea.
Like what?
Maybe.
Crafted items?
Yeah.
Just that'd be nice. I don't have the crafting skill yet.
I have a lot of money. I have a high level of resources. So, if Bruce Wayne proves anything, money is its own superpower.
Money is its own superpower.
It really is.
So, I mean, I did have the thought that because my character usually carries 2 knives on him, he doesn't fight He doesn't fight, with 2 knives. He just likes to have a backup. I was thinking he gives his knife. Yeah, I was thinking he gives one of his. What's that? Yeah, well, I can't grow one. I can just get really
throw one.
I'll throw one. Well, I'm not. Yeah, it's like we do have a Zemisty, so I guess I could like eventually learn how to grow a knife out of my own hand.
We can
Or
hope.
whatnot.
You know.
You know, it debate. Well, you know, he's not a very smart character, so you know it might take him a little while. But
It's all good. We'll get to that part of that fun part of things later.
Yeah. What else thinking? He just ceremoniously gives the bishop his knife or something. I don't know.
So what was your character's name though, Jack?
Everett King.
Thank you. Oh,
But he's not very pretentious. He's just gonna go by Everett 9 times out of 10. So.
Sorry for making small talk in the hangout.
No, it's fine. This was always going to be a messy affair because so many people and getting more than one hangout going is a pain in the ass.
This is my first time playing in like a venue like this, so it's like I'm like pretty much perpetually confused, but it's good.
Most of them are much more, and this is not an insult to Evan's ability to do this. Trust me, he knows that. Most of them are much more coherent and straightforward, like because usually it's one hangout.
Gotcha. So
Yes.
what do we use Discord for?
Rolling dice. Mostly.
Yes.
Oh, there he is. The
Like
the herald will sweep back into the room, bowing low to the bishop to the archbishop seated on the dais, and he will say in a commanding voice, "The Cainite whom you requested, Your Excellency, in the form of one Patrick O'Malley."
Is Ductus coming back?
Yes, he will be. He's just getting some kind of technical fault.
Okay.
Patrick enters, nods respectfully, glances around the room to see who else is here.
The Archbishop is seated on a throne on the third level of this. It is the quintessential British-style prison from the turn of the 19th century. So it is rows upon rows of cells on top of rows upon rows of cells on top of rows upon rows of cells. There are 3 levels. She is seated on a throne on the third level, looking down over the vast feasting hall as many different people squeal and scream all around her. The floor is slick and sticky from the congealing blood upon the floor as you enter. And the herald will bow deeply as he withdraws, leaving the archbishop looking down at you, her eyes opaque, black discs that seem to be inky, lacking any white whatsoever, as she looks at you nonchalantly. "You are Patrick O'Malley."
I am, Your Grace. As sent for.
Yes, you did. I require your opinion on something.
I'm honored to be asked.
I am told by the Bishop Mariposa that Cassian Santino has openly made claims of a grandiose nature as it pertains the crusade, his competency, and in effect his concept or his questioning of the competency of those whom are its anointed leaders. I wished if this was true, to know if this was true.
It is true that on one occasion I have heard him speak with a rash overconfidence, as the young are wont to do. If you wish him discipline for that, I will be happy to see to it.
What are your words on this matter, Mr. Santino?
Sorry, I missed part of that.
What part did you miss?
It was awfully quiet to me.
She basically said you've been accused of questioning, or basically stating that you are more competent than the entirety of the crusade, and she asked this person here to bear witness to your guilt and or innocence, at which point she said, what do you have to say on the matter, basically?
He will stroke his chin and think for a moment, carefully choosing his words. I offered a possible plan of finding an individual. A plan that I later found out was already attempted. I may have spoken a little too quickly, maybe a little too rashly. I did not mean insult to anybody.
I see. I understand. The impetuousness of youth. Oh, to be young again. Very well. It is my decree that Cassian Santino will have 1 week in order to bring before us the deposed Sheriff Hennessy to prove the validity of his plans, or else I am going to declare a bat hunt. You will hear the room go very quiet.
We'll see. What is a bat hunt? A blood hunt?
No, essentially, basically, okay. A bat hunt is the Sabbat version of a blood hunt. It's basically
Okay.
more like, it's treated more like a game. So it's basically who can catch the person.
Okay.
And they view it as a sport.
Okay.
At which point you'll start to hear banging on the table, like bang, 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 bang. Like as people just start smashing their fists into the table or smashing, utensils into the table or whatever else have you. They start to cry, bat hunt, bat hunt, bat hunt. So, I thank you for your candor and your honesty, Mr. O'Malley.
I am here to serve your grace.
Yes. Now then, Master Santino, you have 1 week, as I have said. However, until then, you still remain as Ductus. Please, present me your offerings.
Cassian will move forward unfazed and bring forward those that they brought with them, and will parade them into the room.
Oh my. You are Cassian Santino. I know this. But who stands with you? What are your names?
Mariam bows her head and says, I am Mariam Yarani, your grace, angel of Cain and child of insert science name here.
Okay. She will nod and she will say, a name that is not unfamiliar to my ears. How interesting. And so lovely a childer. I shall bask in your radiance.
She bows her head.
And you, who stands and looks so stoic and grim, what is your name?
I am Prad Jack Flanagan. And I carry the blood of Clan Markov,
Oh, I see. How very interesting. I shall admit that I have always had a special place in my heart, the child of Malkav. They hear such music that the rest of us can but deign to dream of. Do you not agree?
Jack stands and stares at La Sombre for a moment before saying, I can only hope my melodies will charm you, Your Excellency.
We like him. We the Archbishop of Dublin hereby grant you a benefice in the form of one indulgence for your sweet words. Let it be accounted. As for territory, her hand will flick to look at her clipboard again, or to look at the clipboard that is offered to her, and she'll say, yes, yes, this seems rather perfect. We shall bestow upon you Dunleary, an area by the sea, and I'm led to understand an important, how to phrase, industrial center. It is not as rich in natural prey as others. However, you will have the benefits in order to ensure that the industry of the region, should it be required, is bent to the service of the Sword of Cain. This we gift to you.
Cassian shall nod. Shall bow.
Wonderful. How very wonderful. Yes, yes. Now then, the Angels of Blood, I believe, yes, there are 2 of you still remain. Or, for the record, if Evan is going to keep mixing up these names because his brain is made of death. Is it the Knights of Blood and something or other?
Yeah, we shortened it to Knights of Blood for your sanity.
Thank you. The Knights of Blood, you are dismissed from my presence. Go outside and let them know that in 1 week, should Cassian Santino fail, that there will be a bat hunt. Thank you. Also, please send in the remaining members of Patrick O'Malley's pack to me. Thank you.
Okay, just 1 second. So send in the rest of Jack. This is out of character. Character can remember this a hell of a lot better.
No worries.
What's the pack's name?
Seashore.
How do you pronounce it?
She is in Banshee. Shore as in shore. What's Gary?
Seashore.
That'll do.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. When Evan first saw its pronunciation, he pronounced it mentally as She-Ra.
She-Ra. Okay. And the gist of what's happening with Cassian is Cassian has 1 week to procure the sheriff,
the former sheriff of Dublin by the name of Hennessy, or else he himself is to be bat hunted.
Hennessy, if he fails in this, he will be the subject of a bat hunt.
OC, can I just clarify? Are bat hunts fatal or are they just humiliation?
Reclaim the blood.
Right. Okay.
That would be fatal, wouldn't it?
Right.
Out of character, Evan. Hennessy is like a malt liquor over here in the United States. It's real cheap. It's just, it's kind of funny.
It's the same Hennessy. It's the same over here, but it's
go and look for some Hennessy.
It's the same over here, but it's also a last name. It's quite a common Irish last name, actually.
Nice.
Well,
I thought Hennessy was a brand of chocolate.
No, and over here it's also like associated. It's like a racial thing. People assume that a lot of black people like Hennessy, and yeah, it's funny. A lot of people drink it in the hood. I just think it's funny. We have a vampire looking for Hennessy.
Okay, so we'll both hop into that hangout. Hopefully there's room, and I'll deliver the message since it looks like Grog's having technical difficulties still. And
no worries.
We'll just hang out there, right? And they'll send in their pack in here. Okay, I will hop in there. Is the link in K-Nights?
Yes, indeed. So go forth. We will wait, and we'll wait here for the others to come in. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
If it helps, this is running far smoother than I thought it would. We've only had like 1 major technical fuck up so far.
Evan, that was just meant to be a joke to try to make you smile. Just so you know.
What was that?
The comment about the head imploding.
Oh no, it's cool. It's just that it. Okay, please bear with me. It is rather stressful trying to organize you all. So sometimes levity is wonderful and levitous. Sometimes it just feels like it's grating on my nerves.
Was our entire pack supposed to go?
No, you haven't been dismissed yet.
Okay.
But yes, the herald will once again sweep forward, and he will say to Patrick, he will say, "What is the name of your pack, please?"
Seashore pack.
Shisha, I see. He will make a note on a piece of paper. Interesting. And how many vessels have you procured?
We have 8 caged blood dolls. We have a further 4, I believe the total is. We thought the elders would appreciate if we procured some blood from Eastern Europe for their additional palate.
I see. Interesting. I shall let the voivode know. I'm led to understand he has a particular taste for home. Tim, did you come into the wrong hangout again? God dang it. I'm bad at life. I'm just going to curl up into a ball and cry. Okay. Yep. This is highly confusing. Yes. Okay. That we can do. What's up, Tim?
All right. Sorry about that, y'all.
You know what? Fuck it. I think because Maya is hosting the other hangout, you're the only member of the House of Light who is currently about. Yes? Question mark.
Roughly, yeah. I don't know what's up with Max.
His internet is apparently dying the sweet, sweet death of 1,000 fuck yous.
Okay. I have work in I have to go to work in 15 minutes, so I got to be gone in half an hour.
Okay, we will. In that case, you can stay in here, and I will deal with your pack next. All right then. In that case, the herald will sweep forward as you enter. He's very good at sweeping. And he will look you up and down before he will say, "Your name, please, madam."
Zorana Zagorak.
I see. And you represent?
I am the Duchess of the House of Hope.
I see. And Tim, weird yet interesting question. How, because you were the one who had to be the special bugger, how are you presenting your particular offering? Are they...
Okay, so what it is currently these are all people, they have bags over their heads, bags. They are not plastic, they're cloth, so that way they can still breathe. They are not going to suffocate or anything like that. Another side question, did Anthony Baxter tell you that he also rolled for our pack?
No. Because he told me that he was retiring, so... or that actually more aptly he told me he wants to play Kiasid.
Okay, so
Is he
That
if
actually-
he's continuing with his old character? That's fine. I'll just continue. He will continue as his old character. I don't mind. So you can also roll for that. You can that's fine.
okay, because he already rolled, he got 6, and that brings us up to a total of 18.
Oh, sweet zombie. Why? Okay.
Actually 19. So there's one odd dude out.
That's fine. Fuck that guy. No one liked Jim anyway. God damn it, Torna. Even when you're not here, you amuse the shit out of me. Anyway, all right. So you are bringing forth 18 people marching side by side with bags on their heads. Oh, this one's going to be interesting. Okay. As you approach the dais, the Archbishop is seated on the top ring of the 3 rings of prison cells. Her eyes are opaque black, as in there is no white to the pupil whatsoever. They appear to be depthless, like pools of midnight obsidian. And she looks down at you nonchalantly from where she sits, and she will say, "Ah, so you represent the House of Hope, was it? Or Light? Can't remember."
Out of character, how does one refer to an archbishop? Is it Your Excellency?
It's Your Excellency, yeah.
Okay. I do, Your Excellency.
I see. And you, why is it that your offerings hide their faces?
Because, Your Excellency, I wanted everyone to experience this.
She will very casually gesture with one hand.
And she will go, and she will start pulling the cloth bags off of people's faces. There was quite a bit of muffling. Is it okay, Evan, to say that Zorana basically vicissituted their mouths shut?
Yes, other people have done that, so by all means, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. And she will find, the Archbishop will see, 9 sets of twins.
Okay. The Archbishop very calmly looks down from where she is seated. Her eyes are entirely non-circumspect. However, for those of you who can see, her mouth pulls ever so slightly at either side of her lips. And she will say, "How very interesting. Zorana, Zagora, you hear whispers very well, I take it."
I consider it to be a talent, Your Excellency.
I see. You can actually see her tongue move across pale white teeth, including her extended fangs. And she will say, "As Archbishop of Dublin, I hereby grant the House of Hope 4 indulgences for their excellent work, and allow them what's more to pick their domain within my city. So let it be written. So let it be done." My. She will point to a beautiful set of identical twins, both male. You would say probably in their mid to late 20s, both athletic and both very, very, very firm and muscular. And she will say, "Those. I wish to taste those. You will see to it, Miss Zagorak."
And so it will be done, Excellency.
Hi, Tim.
Hey.
Yep. So what's Zarada going to do, Tim?
She's gonna murk one of these twins.
How are you going to murk them, Tim?
Okay, so Zarana feels that with etiquette 3, I figured that like just straight up draining one dry would be kind of tacky here.
You can assume so.
Cool. I have a different idea then. I'll roll this if need be. So I've already said that I've vicissituted their mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
So one member of the pair, I'm going to vicissitude their nostrils shut.
Oh my. Oh yes. All right. Make me that. As you place your hand casually over their face, you will very gently move your hand, and the nose will flatten down to the point that there are no nostrils anymore. So please make me a. I believe it's dexterity medicine. I'm not looking at my book at the moment.
Yeah, it's dex medicine. The difficulty depends on how like intricate I'm trying to be. It's generally like 5 for a quick ass nip and tuck.
Yeah, I'll give it to you a difficulty 5 because this is not art. This is just flats. You get
yeah, I'm just like, man, whatever, Mark. I am gonna pump a single blood point into dexterity. That way I get 6 dice for this. Why did I make a motherfucking physical tertiary Zamisi? This was the worst idea I could have done.
Or the best idea.
Whoa!
Did you botch?
I didn't. No, I didn't botch. I just failed.
Okay, in that case, you can just spend the blood and try it again.
Try that shit again. Diff 5, guys. Diff fucking 5. There we go. That's 3 successes.
Excellent. You flatten out the nose. You will see the man clutch at his face, and he'll start to tear at his own cheeks with his hands, desperate to try and free himself. You'll see him try to bite through the fleshy flap that covers his mouth in a vain attempt, his face will turn an odd, sickly purple as everyone in the court watches on. His eyes will start to roll back in his head as he will fall, twitching to the ground. The Archbishop will casually clap her hands together in amusement before her own guards will stroll down casually in order to drag the twin, tears rolling down, the living twin, tears rolling down his face, up towards his inevitable death, that moment of sweet oblivion that awaits him in her tender grasp. Tim, because you are on humanity, roll me some conscience, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's difficulty 8.
Yeah. Fail! I'm down to 3.
Okay. Once you became a little bit more hard-hearted. The Archbishop seems pleased with her offering, however, as the rest are led off down to the carnal pits. She will make, actually, if people may make a special, may make me a perception alertness roll, difficulty 7 with threshold of 2. Please. Thank you.
Sorry, what's with the threshold of 2?
It is a perception alertness roll with a difficulty of 7 and a threshold of 2.
Okay.
It's basically to overhear, and if you have auspex or heightened senses hearing, it will also apply.
Oh, is this something I can make too?
Yes.
It was a perception. What now?
No,
Alertness.
not me.
Cool.
I beg your pardon?
0 for me.
Okay, you hear nothing. Mark,
Oh, I hear all the things.
okay. So, Mark, you hear it. Tim, you hear it. Anyone else making the roll?
I actually paused it.
Yes, those are some lovely posies right over there where there are no posies. Anyway, All right, so Tim and Mark, you will both hear the Archbishop say to her paladin that no one else are to touch those particular vessels, that they are hers now, and that they are to be treated as such. Just in case you ever find any use for that information. Because someone rolled that intelligence kindred lore and got 5 fucking successes. Yeah, they
Like
did.
a baller.
The dice gods were just like, you know what, Tim, in that case, they rewarded you for being a physical tertiary species. All right, so she will then very casually wave her hand in order to dismiss Zorana, and she will then say, the First Order may depart outside should they wish it. They are no longer required here. Please send me in the IC or A. Thank you.
And Zorana will about face and start to walk out with a smile.
Tim, make sure to put down a note of the indulgences that you have been granted, because right now, I know Wade was granted 1, so now you have 4.
Yeah. Well, now we got 5. If we want it all as a pack.
No, did she just give you 3 or 4? She gave you 3.
I heard 4.
I heard 4 as well.
Oh, excellent. In that case, you have 5.
Okay. Like, if you meant to say 3, like, it's all good.
No, don't worry about it. All right, so everyone is dismissed with the exception of Nathan and Paige, who are to remain, and they are to send in the I or CA. Next, please and thank you.
Sorry, so both backs are dismissed, sorry?
Yes, the only ones that are now required are the I or CA to be sent in. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, then. My apologies. That took so long. But if Tim was leaving imminently, I felt that I didn't want to have to rush, so...
It's fine.
The herald will look down. He will look at Rose, and he'll quirk his head to the side, and he'll say, "And what is your name, miss, so I may introduce you properly?"
Rose smiles and turns, and Rose is the name.
I see. Well, in that case, I shall introduce you before the dais. If you would care to follow me, please, Dr. O'Malley. Your Grace, should it please you, you have already been introduced to Dr. O'Malley. However, he now stands before you to give due offerings. The bishop, seemingly, she was in you would guess, a private conversation with with her paladin. She will look down and she will say, "Ah, yes, Dr. O'Malley, what is it you have brought before me today?"
Of course. I have brought in 8 prize blood dolls, fine specimens, kept safely in cages so as not to be unduly damaged on the way in. And in addition, we have added to these a further 4. I would draw attention to the one on the left there, who is of noble descent, and the one on the other end, who is of Eastern European descent, for those who prefer that vintage.
Your own Bishop Mariposa nods approvingly, as the Archbishop will say, "Ah, I see. How intoxicating. We thank you for your kind consideration, Dr. O'Malley. And who is this young lady with you?" Bear in mind, the herald has introduced you. You may take her outwardly requesting your names as a sign that she wishes you to speak your names. She already knows them. It's not a matter of her not knowing the name. She does, but she wishes to hear your introduction. So take that as you will.
This one is known as Rose. She is a newly hatched fledgling to us of the line of Melcav. Quite ignorant of her past origins, afflicted with amnesia. The only clues to her identity are this strange symbol. I gestured to her chest.
You'll see the bishop look down. I now have to roll their pool for intelligence cult. I'll be with you in 1 moment.
And the green glow, of course.
The what?
Rose pulls her shirt down just a little bit from the collar, and from there you see a green glow emanating from her chest. Yeah, I was told that there was something inside me.
I see. How very interesting. You'll see her cock her head to the side, and she'll whisper something. Her paladin will then nod and bow before he will very casually walk down a set of steps and whisper something in the ear of the Chiasad Bishop Mariposa, who will then reply. The paladin will walk back up the stairs to whisper in the ear of the Archbishop before she will reply. This entire process takes about a minute and a half, and would have been entirely pointless had they wished to talk out loud. Clearly, they didn't.
Yeah.
And she will say, "Interesting. We shall leave the discovery of this malady in the hands of you and your pack. This seems agreeable to us. Yes."
Objection. I'll nudge Rose to say something.
Beg your pardon?
Very good, Your Excellency. And Patrick would nudge Rose to say something appropriate.
Nudge.
Rose just smiles awkwardly, not knowing what to say, and kind of curtsies and backs up a little bit.
You will teach her proper manners before the next time she approaches my dais.
Of course. Your Excellency.
Now then, what is your... No, that is wrong. English is such a clumsy language.
Would you? I'll switch to Gaelic. Would this be better for you, Your Excellency?
She blinks. She has no idea. Blink, 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 blink.
No matter. English it is then.
Yes. What is your line of was your line of profession, Douglas O'Malley?
In my childish youth, I once dreamed of being a poet, but then the war came, and I became I would say a soldier. The British would have a different opinion.
I see. So you were a terrorist?
I prefer freedom fighter. Besides, we won the war. That makes us not terrorists.
You'll hear kind of a general rowdy kind of from the generals surrounding Kindred, who are seated at two long tables in the room, enjoying the benefits of the blood feast. And the Duchess or the Archbishop raises her hand for silence, and she'll say, "I see. In that case, where should I grant you? Yes, there. For your pack, I grant you. I grant you the suburb of Swords to be your domain. It is abutting Camarilla territory, unfortunately, and their fighters are still active. So I will expect you to make a good showing for yourself as it comes to teaching these fools the same lessons you taught the British."
Thank you for your confidence, Your Grace. I'll do what I can with these fledglings and shuffleheads I have to command.
Yes, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. for being so considerate in your choosings of vessels. I grant you and your pack one indulgence. You may withdraw.
Until next time, Your Excellency. Step away.
Hey, Torna. Hey, Torna.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Patrick gives Rose a look to follow him out.
All right, then. So, Torna,
Hey.
the Archbishop will look down and you will hear, or you will see her paladin speaking in her ear, at which point the herald will walk towards you and he will say, can you please identify yourselves so that I may introduce you properly?
Amelia Collins, Duchess of the Irish Canaanite Republican Army.
You'll see him wrinkle his nose at the name. Like just gonna, oh, I see.
I see what you guys did.
And you, sir? He will say to the person standing next to him.
And Spudgun does his best not to roll his eyes. It's not the first time that he's been around here, but then again, he does have the new kid floor. Spudgun of the Irish Canaanite Republican Army.
Your actual name, please.
Joe Sullivan.
Excellent. Unless your parents did in fact name you Spudgun, in which case I'd question the amount of liquor they were imbibing at the time.
Well, it's an interesting story how I got the name Spudgun, and he looks over towards Amelia.
She gives you the not now, dear. Look.
and he gives a very understanding nod of the head because reasons.
Which goes so far as to say raisins.
Raisins.
All right. Out of character, Torna, what have you brought?
I have brought 20 blood vessels.
Oh, sweet zombie G, of course you have.
Yes.
Yep.
All of them dominated to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And being herded along by Spudgun, who replacing the usual shepherd's stick thing, which name I've forgotten because it's about like half one. He has a shovel.
They're all from good to decent quality, especially 10 of them, and one in particular is very good quality. The rest look like they've been dragged in, dominated, but they all look reasonably good quality. You know, they've chosen to prey carefully, and they're all marching in time to Amelia's footsteps.
The Archbishop will look down once again from her throne, and she will say, Amelia Collins. That is your name, yeah?
Yes, Your Grace.
Let's see. What is it that you have brought me?
10, she'll point, and they separate into the line, are from my pack's own personal feeding storage. We are not Cain's followers if we do not sacrifice the things we have for this fight. The rest, one in particular is one I procured, specially from the port. The rest are all that we have chosen for fine quality for you and your compatriots to dine on, as service, and the blood of this war effort and Sabbat.
I see. You would give up your own for the sword. That is noble.
I would give everything for the sword of Cain. She says that with like fucking conviction.
And who is your compatriot?
She'll turn to Spudgun.
My name is, and he pauses. My name is Joe Sullivan. I was the.
She will raise her finger, and she will say, "That's not your name."
Oh. I'm Spudgun.
Better.
He kind of looks over towards the paladin if they were around there, but
it was the herald of the herald. Just got, you can see the fact that his eyes go like, "Oh shit."
But then, when Spudgun then looks back to the Archbishop, he looks down momentarily and gets a slight grin on his face. Though perhaps after the job that I've done on your Lecky around here, I should probably be calling me Lord Lecky. But I understand that I'd need to earn that name before I start calling me that.
Amelia rubs her chin.
I see. I'm curious. How did you acquire such a name? Once again, he face palms like, oh God, I should have known this. Mistakes were made.
And Spudgun goes, well, just give me a potato and I'll show you. But then he also kind of like looks over towards Amelia, knowing that he's probably pushing his luck on this.
She smirks slightly, but if the Archbishop wants it, she's not going to say no.
They will there will be a mad scrabble throughout the room as like a dozen or more Canaanites are literally sent running out. There was an unfortunate like Tesco's, because everyone here knows what Tesco's is.
Yes, of course. We're in that part of the world.
Yes, we are. We are in the civilized part of the world that knows what Tesco's is.
Yes.
There was an unfortunate Tesco's on the opposite side of the road, which is perfunctorily broken into just so a potato can be acquired.
Oh my God. Fucking beautiful.
At which point they will bring the potato back in on a velveteen pillow and present it like to Spudgun.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Spudgun, for his part, he simply takes the potato, holds it up like a cricket player would hold the bowling ball, and he'll kind of like look at a distant tar. I'm presuming that where they're being having this meeting, it's probably in the warden's office, right?
Beg your pardon?
Where is the meeting that they're having?
It is currently being held in the same grand room that they do most things in, which is the main cell block. So she is seated on a throne approximately 30, 40 feet above you, looking down.
Okay. Spudgun will then look around. He's looking for a high target, ideally someone up on one of the higher levels, but we'll see however it goes. Right. I'm going to need someone to hold up like a hat or a picture or anything like that on one of those balconies over there. And he points to one of the balconies on the far end.
Oh, we'll just use Constantius, she will say, denoting the herald.
Constantius is like, no, please.
Poor Constantius. You can see as he trudges up to the third level.
Mm-hmm.
If you can hit him between the eyes, I'll be impressed.
Channel accepted, ma'am. And what do I do to get the coding for the difficulty on that one? No, what I've got for the dice.
Are you using anything to affect the difficulty, like to lower it?
I was imagining it was going to be a Dex Athletics with celerity added onto it. But
Yep.
he does have ambidextrous. I'm not sure if that would actually help.
Not in this situation. I assume you're going to throw with your dominant hand.
Yeah.
So it would be Dex Athletics plus celerity. Probably realistically difficulty 8. Yeah, probably difficulty 8.
Okay. All right. So what do I type in for the coding on Discord? It's like
Just hash roll. However many dice. You can copy and paste the rolls that are above you.
okay. I'll just roll 10d10 and I'll see if it's difficulty 8 or not. And he will spend blood for potence as well.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
You whack him in the head.
And the potato explodes.
It would be 1. It's an improvised weapon, so it'll do strength base damage plus blood for potence.
So that's 5 D10, 2 automatic levels of bashing damage for that head.
There's something you don't know, but that it's more funny because you don't know.
That's 5 levels of damage.
Jesus.
I need to roll something.
It's either bash. Well, it depends. Could a potato to the head be considered lethal damage?
I mean,
You did put potence behind it,
Yes.
so yes. Hi. Hi, Jason.
Oh no.
Hello.
Oh no.
You knock him into Topor. He'd already taken damage this scene. You knock him into Topor.
This is why they call me Spud Gun.
I can't.
I earned that fucking name.
Even if you did bashing damage, he didn't botch his soak roll because you can't, but he got no successes. Even if you're just doing, you knocked him into Topor. The figure will proceed to take the spud to the face, and he will fall forward with a sickening crunch as his head hits the bottom of the stone flooring, and he will twitch before falling completely still. The Archbishop kind of looks bemusedly, like, "Oh, that happened."
Aye. And this is at the moment where I really wish that I had the theme song to Guile on my phone.
We hereby grant you an additional +1 indulgence for Joe Sullivan, named Spud Guns. Incredible feats of athletic prowess.
I love the fact she's trying not to laugh when she's saying that. It's like incredible.
No, the character's completely deadpan, but Evan's trying not to.
Oh, this is beautiful.
You knocked someone into Topor with a potato.
A potence-fueled potato.
I'm okay with this. She will then also say that the Sabbat will replace all of the blood dolls that you have brought with them of lower quality blood dolls from their own supply, so you will not be without them, meaning you will not lose your dots of herd.
Woo!
Ooh.
She will then stand and she will say, "All those servants of the Dark Father, be in abeyance." One moment. I hate you all.
No, you don't.
I really do.
No, you
That's
don't.
hilarious.
You know, you love it.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful. I'm so happy that oh.
Ugh. If my dad ever knew that I was doing these types of games and what I'd just done here, he would hate me.
What? Your packmate did what?
I just realised something, Evan. I know you said that Spud Gun was going to end up being like Dave 2.0, but
I like it.
Yeah. If Spud Gun is Spud Gun, then doesn't Dave turn into Dave Hedgehog?
Yes.
Yeah, though then again, he never actually threw a hedgehog at someone, so maybe not.
My heart, he did. All right. Hang on. I'm just going to see if we can get any more people back in order to do the. Okay. As you file back in from the outer courtyard, the Archbishop will stand from where she is seated, and she will say, "All those of you who wish to speak reverence to the Dark Father, or indeed to speak to the glories of the sword, may now do so. I open the floor for these declarations before the crusade and before your dark brothers and sisters. Speak now, should you desire it. Let the walls, let your family hear your words."
I would have Jack step forward and, while clawing at his own hand, kneel before the dais and before the Archbishop, and with a certain tremor in his tongues, whisper, "Before the sword, I was only a pawn of the Camarilla. Now I found purpose in this existence."
An admirable perspective, brother. Does anyone else wish to speak?
Emil will step forward, probably inspecting some of the vessels. She's walking as her fists will clench as she stands amidst the other Canaanites, and she'll say, "We are the children of Cain, and this sword brings death to all our enemies. We take the blood that we need, and we break the chains of the usurpers that would try to overthrow us. I give my life, day by day, night by night, for the glory of our Dark Father, and I demand sacrifice when he requires it. This is what it means to be the Sword of Cain."
We have heard you, brother. Whom else will speak?
Patrick will step forward in his own time. Take a long moment to compose his thoughts.
Speak.
Earlier this night, Her Excellency asked me of my mortal life. In life, I fought for freedom. Freedom for myself, for my neighbours, for this land. Sometimes we won, sometimes we lost. It was a good fight that needed to be fought. It was only later I learned that the empire that cast its long shadow upon the world, the empire on which the sun never set, as they called it, was but a pawn of the ancient of London, of the false god Mithras. And how I learned of the great jihad, of how all of human history, mankind has been but pawns in their great game, no more than chess pieces. And that is why we go on, and that is why we fight the good fight, for freedom, for ourselves, for our brothers, for all true Sabbat, that we may know freedom from the manipulation of the ancients and the elders and the false gods.
There is a general, particularly after that, there is a general sense of silent awe in the room. At which point the Archbishop will stand, and she will hold out her hand, into which there is placed a very, very old-looking book. And she will say, "Hear now, my children, the word of the Dark Father. When she says this, do you change your positions, your postures, anything of that nature?
Amelia gets on one knee.
Spud Gunn, noticing that Amelia's getting on one knee, also gets on one knee.
Patrick puts his hands together and bows as mighty Catholic here in the Mass.
Cassian also kneels.
Jack was also already kneeling, so he doesn't really need to change his position.
Nope, that's entirely fair. She will open the book and she will say, "Many pieces of the true words of the Dark Father have been lost to the annals of history. This is a shame, a sin, and a travesty. But that which remains, allow me to read to you the following truth as he presented it." She will say, in order to quiet the room, you will see the various different figures on the catwalks, making very sure that no one makes a noise, throwing glares and looks of distaste at any who would dare to speak as she reads the hallowed words. "Those whom you bless with the potence of Cain may come to live within your house to protect you. Let no one embrace these guardians. Let them be a sign given that the blood is their truth, appropriate to their time. Let their strength be your strength, strength that does not abate with the sun. Let their eyes be your eyes, eyes that you see in the day. Let their ears be your ears, ears that can hear while you slumber. Let those whom serve you be named greatest of the children of Seth and the most privileged. Let them enjoy the fine cloth of the kindred. Let them enjoy the gentle music of the kindred. Let them know the sweetness of our wine. Let us protect them from those who would hinder or cause them harm. Let us all raise up in outrage should one who serve us be slain by another kindred or no. They have no right to kill another's servant in whom the blood flows, to whom has been offered your benefice, the benefice of Cain, the benefice of our Dark Father. This, my children, is the word of Cain." She will close the book. I have chosen to read you this passage this evening for a specific reason. Dublin is ours. However, still, the Camarilla dog our steps. In order to advance our cause, we need to bring mortals into the fold, in a manner that they may still continue the service to this feculent city, be they judges, industrialists, artists. We need to grip this city tight by the throat and have those in our sway, whom should be within our sway. They must know the sweetness of the wine, and that is my next initiative for the crusade. You are to bring those of import, influence, station, and sophistication to our cause. to lure them, to tempt them. This city must continue to function. However, it must be us who clasps its beating heart within our hand. You have heard my given orders. She will ask as a general question to the room. Do you understand?
We do.
We do.
We do.
We do.
Good. I thank you, my children. And now, the feast is yours. She will generally move her hands to symbolize that she is done speaking before she will retake her seat. Out of character, has Evan has gotten to all of the packs? I think I have. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Everyone has been given a... Oh. Yes. Everyone has been given a hunting ground. Yes.
I don't think we got any. The ICRA.
Did I not?
No, you didn't say anything.
Nope.
You were too impressed at Spudgun showing how awesome he was.
Yeah.
I mean, you did topor a man with a potato.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, he topored someone with a potato. I didn't think it was possible. All right. In that case, before she read her speech, the Archbishop will say, I grant to the ICRA... What seems suitable? I grant you the suburb of Hoth. Silence, Torda.
Yeah, I think Torna got that before I did.
This is a city of wealth, and many who dance that dance reside there. I think that you will prove most apt in turning that to our advantage. You know what it is to be the underdog. I always value that approach.
We'll be done.
Aye.
Wonderful. And with that, boys and girls, we're going to end our scene because holy crap, this has been stressful. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin, where if I ever have to do a scene that involves two hangouts again, shoot me. No, seriously, shoot me.